Hello, Jill. How are you today?
Doing great, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to our PWN members about what you do and your expertise. And so at this time, I just wanted to say a quick hello, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Marilyn. Yep, so Jill Reece with True Found Wellness. I'm actually an RN and a nutritional therapy practitioner. And I became an RN back in 1986. And I had a great career. I was a cardiac intensive care nurse, and I did various things in administration, not only being a nurse manager of a telemetry floor, but assistant director of nursing and a care management manager over the whole hospital. And I say that because I really believed in the paradigm. All I knew was that the medical way to care for people was the way it was done. However, in 1998, I became totally disabled. What I mean by that is physically and also mentally, I could not function. I could no longer work. I could no longer be active in my congregation. I could no longer function in my home. Every system of my body had a problem. They said that my bowel was dead. They wanted to take it out. They said that I had fibromyalgia, which is really actually a bucket term for an autoimmune illness. They told me I was incurable. So these are doctors I had worked with for years. It's not like they were holding back. It's just they really didn't have what I needed in order to become well again. And frankly, I didn't know if there were answers because pharmaceuticals either didn't help or they made me worse. So I was at home from the bed to the couch and really just praying, and looking for answers about what to do. And I started realizing that different things that I ate made me feel worse. So I would stop eating those things. But I really had no idea that there were foods that I could eat that would actually help me heal and repair. I really didn't know that that was a dynamic that could happen. And so I did a lot of exploration through the years, and one by one I would get answers here and there. And the long and short of the story is that years later, while living out of the country, I did find out about the Nutritional Therapy Association because I knew I had to learn more about this nutritional piece. Because while we lived 7 years abroad in Israel, there was plentiful food with herbs and more natural things with less preservatives, non-GMO, that whole deal. And I realized the impact that that made on my body to help me feel better, function better, and to be able to regain some physical fitness, which was really important. And so I started the nutritional therapy program really for me. It's like, if this helps me, I'll help other people because that's what I do. Not knowing that at the end of that year, we would have to move back to the States because my husband's work visa was going to be over. And so we sadly moved back. And then I had to figure out, what am I going to do with my life? Because there was no blueprint at that point. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to apply what I've learned in not only my nursing career, but also my recovery from an incurable illness, the education that I've had on top of that to learn even more about how do we foundationally look at the body so that we're not chasing symptoms. And I decided, I'm going to start my own practice, and that's what I'm going to do. And so that's what I've been really amazingly successful at doing. And I not only have local clients here in the Tidewater area, but also clients across the country and internationally, because I meet with them by phone and Skype. So people that I have never looked at face to face in the eyeball are able to get the same great results according to their situation that I have in remarkably fast fashion. So that's how I do it.
Thank you, Jill. That was very fantastic of you to tell us where you came from and your background. Now that you're here back into Hampton Roads, what makes your specialty different from other resources that we might have in this area?
Okay, great question. So there's a lot of different health professionals around, there is no doubt. The real thing that establishes a difference between me and a lot of the medical professionals is our paradigm. So the medical paradigm looks at symptoms in order to see what magic bullet do you need, and that's typically a pharmaceutical. But even in the natural health industry, the paradigm a lot of times is looking for what's that magic bullet that you need. And I do not come from that at all. So my paradigm is to see what are the strengths and the weaknesses in the body, because there's actually 6 foundations to our health: diet, digestion, essential fatty acids, sugar handling, minerals, and hydration. And so instead of chasing symptoms, if we actually look at what foundations are out of balance, and then through diet, lifestyle, and environment, we look at what does the body need to heal and repair, that's a whole different ball game. And I think that's why people get such fast results because, for example, one of my clients, it's in Washington State, was diagnosed with fibromyalgia at the same time frame that I was in the late 1990s. She's 10 years older than me, and she experienced in 3 months what took me 15 years to accomplish. And it's not because I'm a rocket scientist, I'm not. It's because the body was created to heal and repair. We just have to know what to do. And that's where targeted professional supplementation comes in line, so that actually those organs and glands that are weak, that have been damaged, can be brought into health again, and the body can take over to really start optimizing on its own through diet.
So Jill, if I'm intimidated about the things you just said, because I've been working with maybe a physician for a while and I'm still having some issues, but then I'm scared to go to someone else new, what's the process that you take us through when we first meet you, we start working with you? Like, what can we expect?
Great question again. So I do work well with medical professionals because I cover a different base. But actually what I do love about what I do is that I work with the client according to their pace. So I've got clients that are like a dog on a bone, and they take my recommendations, they apply them, and they have amazing results that even spin my head because I'm just so thrilled for them, because I know what it's like to be totally incapacitated and not to have anybody to call out to. However, I've got other clients that are even just very busy professionals, but they've got hormonal issues or they've got various problems that they don't know how to get help for, but they can only make one change at a time. And that's perfectly okay, because you are not in a race with anyone. This is all at your pace. So the fun thing I like is I love hearing about what's working for you, but where you're challenged and what you have available to work with. And then after you see my recommendations, you can say, you know, I feel like I can do this, but I don't feel like I can do that till later. And it's like, cool. So then I can help and support you where you're able to make the change. So I sell my services in packages of 6 hours. And those 6 hours are usually used up in about 6 months. But that's not a hard and fast rule at all, because we utilize those 6 hours according to what you need. So if you need that to extend much longer, or let's say that you're one of the dog on a bone people and you need appointments that are closer together because you're making so many advances so quickly and stabilizing so well, then I do that. And that's the fun part about working with somebody bio-individually, because this is your race with you. It's not, you know, compared to anyone else. And I think that's one feature that really helps people to be successful, because they understand that I get that.
So in order to, I guess, make a whole lot more people's lives better through health, if there was one big suggestion you can make to the general public, what would that be?
Okay, so to make one big is really hard, but I think the first one big that comes to my mind is to understand that just because something is on the food shelf in the store, that does not make it healthy. And just because it is promoted as being healthy doesn't mean that it's true. So real food is what our body knows and understands how to use. I totally believe we came from the dust of the earth. So what's natural on the earth, our bodies know how to deal with, how to break down, how to absorb, how to utilize, and how to leave when it's time to leave. However, when you get these processed foods, GMO foods, things with other preservatives and chemicals in them, our bodies have no clue what to do. And that's why often we will have weight issues and various other issues, even with our thinking, because these toxins and these foreign things get into our bodies, and our body's like, what am I supposed to do with this? And so because our bodies fight hard to keep us well, they'll say, okay, I can tuck it away here and I can tuck it away there. But did you know that fat gravitates toward these foreign things in order to protect the organs and glands and the nervous system? So knowing that, when you're in a grocery store, I think that the most important thing, or even looking at a menu, is to think, what foods can I buy that I will recognize when I look at them? Not, if you take the label off a box, would you know what's in it? I wouldn't know. So, but if you can buy something that you can recognize as whole food and keep it as clean as possible, and even better, support your local farmers that are growing things fresh, know your farmer and how they raise, be it their animals or their produce, so that you can confidently buy knowing that it's as real, whole, nutrient dense as possible.
So when people are first discussing possibilities with you,
Yeah.
what is the most shocking and surprising thing that they usually are kind of dumbfounded about in the beginning?
Yeah, I think that they're usually just surprised that what I'm saying is possible and that it's not rocket science, because it's just people don't have the right answers. So I think initially, even when I'm first introducing people to the whole thing, the other side of that coin to your question is people don't even realize that what I do for others and what has been accomplished in my life is even possible. So just like me, when I was entrenched in the medical paradigm and I loved my career, and believe me, I tell my clients with cardiac stresses and these different things, look, if you're having an emergency, go to the hospital. That's why they're there. They're trained. They know what to do. However, we're so entrenched in that we don't realize there's another way that really works. So I'm one of 4 children. I'm the youngest. All 4 of us disabled. My brother, 2 years older than me, we haven't heard from him for over 28 years. We don't know if he's dead or alive. And it's just the whole thing hit him psychologically. My 2 sisters, one 9, one 11 years older than me, both nurses. But they didn't change their paradigm. They became disabled 5 and 7 years after me. The one 9 years older than me unfortunately passed away 6 years ago. And the other one that is still alive, but she's also disabled, has had multiple extensive back surgeries, cancer, and a heart attack. And these are things that, thank God, I've never had to go through. But I really think that because I changed my paradigm and I just really let the body do what it was created to do, and was willing to make those changes that in the beginning might seem, drastic, but once you do it, you realize, man, food is more flavorful, it's more enjoyable, you feel better. Even people that don't like to cook, sometimes the reason they don't like to cook is because what they're cooking is not nourishing their body, and their body's not saying, yeah, do it again. But once you start cooking the way that actually nourishes your body, then your body's like, do that again. In fact, let's try this and that. And so it just really changes because your body does know what you need. You just need to start with the program step by step, and then you actually discover where your caveat is to make the food that really will nourish not only you, but your family.
Now, in your opinion, when should people really start looking into a nutritional therapy practitioner?
Well, seriously, in my opinion, they should start looking as soon as they realize it exists. Because what I do is not only to save somebody, in the throes of disability and help them to come back. That's not, just the role that I serve. What I love is prevention. So really, when somebody finds out that I exist, that's a great time to actually get involved. Because then we can actually utilize your package of hours to see, okay, you feel okay, you think you're functioning pretty good, but where are things out of balance? And maybe you'll say, oh, I do have some PMS, but everybody has that. Well, everybody's not supposed to have that. We're not supposed to have PMS. There's a lot of things that we've accepted as Americans that are just kind of part of aging and part of growing older, arthritis, it's like it's normal. No, it's normal for Americans because of the standard American diet, but it's not normal for the human body. So really, whenever you hear about it is great. What I found in the beginning, a lot of times people would come to me when they were at a state of desperation and they have tried everything else. And of course, that's a great time to start. However, like I said, at any point is a really good time, even if you've just got little issues or you want to be sure that you're in good shape for the future. any of those occasions would be perfect to start my services.
So is it too late if you are experiencing symptoms and you're really you've gotten so many different opinions and you don't really know what to do? Is it too late at that point?
Never, never. Because I've even got people, diabetic type 1, type 2, AC1s up really high, and those are now normal. We've got people with osteoarthritis issues, different osteoporosis issues, diagnoses of the yin-yang, because a diagnosis is really a description of your symptom. Okay, that can be really helpful, but let's do foundationally what's needed to help the body balance so that it can heal and repair. So it does not matter how far down the road you are, and just to reiterate, I do also, work, if you're working with a medical practitioner, I work with them as well, and I get referrals from doctors. So that's not a problem. So it's never too late and it's never too early to get started.
Well, thank you, Jill, for taking your time and helping educate our members and other people who are going to be viewing this. So if we want to get in touch with you, what's really the best way to get in touch?
Okay, so feel free to email me at info@truefoundwellness.com. So that's true as in not false, found as in not lost, wellness.com. Or you can call and leave a message with my answering service at 804-693-2642. And then we'll respond to you as quickly as possible. Would love to hear from you. So I just want to thank Marilyn and PWN for the opportunity to share with all of you. And I am really new to PWN, so I'm looking forward to really getting connected and plugged in. And even if you want to just get together for a one-to-one to chat or have a cup of coffee, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you, would love to hear what you do and how we can network together in Tidewater and across the country. Thanks so much.